So back to a kind of a shorter video format for this week, as they've been getting longer and longer, haven't they? And that's one of the trio ones, so you know, one of the designer indie niche kind of things along the same note. And obviously, like I always ramble on, there's no difference between them other than, you know, there's no difference between quality and what have you. It's just what they're called, in it really. Obviously independents are just independents. That doesn't make them better than the designer, etc. Although the designers tend to be the more traditionally safer options and whatnot. But anyway, that's enough rambling on about that. It's licorice this week. And licorice is one of them notes, specifically licorice, not anise and that I found myself loving more and more and more. And I think kind of a note that's probably been in some of my older fragrances back in the day without really realising. And do seem to have got myself in a bit lost here. But yeah, I think it was Rose and Jones, Lizzie and her love for the Lolita Pikas, where I truly kind of experienced it and started to fall in love with the note. So yeah, no more rambling. My 3 random licorice ones. So first up is the niche, and that's Imitation from Amoage. Now this is a predominantly blackcurrant kind of resinous one, and some aldehydes giving it a nice lift. Now this, if you like, is an almost fresh licorice one. As we know, licorice can add like a dark bitterness and what have you, but when mixed with the dark fruits, which is kind of probably going to be a theme of this, it gives this kind of almost enhancement, making the purple fruits more purple, a bit sweeter, a bit more prominent. And that's how it kind of performs in this. It does sit under it. You do get a bit of the blackness from the licorice, but mainly it just brings about more from the blackcurrant. And this one is almost a little bit vintage in style, but also modern. And that's obviously what the name's all about with it. And the licorice performs in both ways. It gives it that kind of sticky darkness that you'd have found in an old school one. Normally it will come from cloves and things, isn't it? But it's licorice in this. There might be cloves also in it, but it gives that kind of nod. But it has the modern sweetness, the modern lovely sumptuousness with the blackcurrant. And yeah, I'm not going to ramble on. That is Imitation from Amoage for the indie brand, and it is more or less, I suppose, is the Australian brand Map of the Heart, and this is one again I tried thanks to Lizzie, and that's Purple Heart. Now the way the licorice performs and kind of stands out in this, I think it enhances the ink note. So it has that kind of prominence of increasing the blackness, and that also has a sweetness, but also again it mixes with the purple notes, if you like, the violet and that, to give the violet a darker, again more silky, almost fruitiness about it. There are fruits in it as well, but it's mainly violet, licorice and ink and musk, etc. that are kind of the main thing. And I also think, as well as that slight blackness with the ink, it also adds a little bit of woodiness in the base of this one. Now if you've ever chewed on a licorice stick, you kind of get what I mean. It's a woody, well, is it a wood? I don't know what it is. Real licorice is a stick, isn't it, that you chew on, and it's very lovely. And the licorice has, again, all these elements in this one fragrance. And again, not a main note, but it just adds all these different levels and textures, and emphasises, increases, enhances the darker notes and the sweeter notes. Really a splendid note, isn't it, licorice? So that's a Purple Heart from Map of the Heart. And finally, in this very, very brief video, hopefully, is the design, and that's Lolita Pika. And we're going to go for the EDP this time. Now the licorice in this is mixed with, it's like about forbidden fruits and that, isn't it? So there's lots of again purple fruits, the violet, and all of that. But the licorice in this is kind of like, if you take it as like the forbidden fruit, the apple, the kind of scary thing in the forest, the licorice is like that edge, that little bit of fear. Not fear as in it terrifies you, but you know what I mean, the wolf in the shadows, the kind of the darkness of the forest. But again, licorice is sweet, isn't it? And it's that sweetness from the licorice that gives that enticing feel about the danger in the darkness that we all get, the exciting bit. And I think I can't imagine this fragrance without licorice, all them sweet dark fruits. And it can go, it's quite musky, isn't it? But it is that kind of the wolf, if you like. That's the way of looking at the licorice in this. The violet and what have you are the exciting kind of, you know, joyous kind of attractive parts of it, and the licorice is that little bit of the smooth risk and the darkness. So that's Lolita Pika. So yeah, it is a very brief one. Even for me, that's quite some brief one. But they've been going on way too long, haven't they? I'll probably do another licoricey one. I have a kind of idea with licorice, anise, cherry, violet fragrances, doing some as usual. A kind of gothicy one, but it leans itself that way, doesn't it, generally? And these ones are ones that I've spoke about that not all on the darker side, actually, especially imitation. So it's just one of them notes that it just adds that blackness and that certain dark sweetness, doesn't it? One of my favourite notes, probably, yes. And I think licorice, the main difference between licorice and anise, although they're quite hard to separate sometimes when you're sniffing things, is, to me, an anise is a sweeter one. It's more, doesn't go medicinal, but you know what I mean, it's got that kind of thing, whereas licorice is can be the more aromatic one with the blackness. Anyway, what about yourselves? What's your favourite fragrances with licorice? Are you a big licorice fan? Do you prefer licorice over anise, or are they much of a muchness for you? Right folks, thanks for watching, bye.